You're listening to Cars and Coffee, your local home for the latest in motorsports and automotive news here on 91.3 WHJE. And now, here's your host, Nathan Ward. Hello, and welcome back to Cars and Coffee here on 91.3 WHJE. My name is Nathan Ward. It has been a while. I didn't do a show last week because really nothing happened last week, and by the time anything did happen last week, I was already not at school because it was Friday and the IMS Open test just ended. Speaking of which, we will get to that in just a second. Before, I actually have some announcements regarding some of my future work that I'm going to do here near the end of the year for the station. I'm going to be creating a Meet the Drivers kind of collection of little bits of audio I want to put on here at the station, talk about the teams and the drivers that are entering the 109th running of the Indy 500 that is just under a month from now. Yippee! May's almost here. May is tomorrow. That's my favorite month of the year for obvious reasons. I mean, it's Star Wars Day and the Indy 500, so both of my really weird, nerdy interests in 1 month is great. So, I'm going to be doing some Meet the Drivers little, I don't know what you would call them, spots, sweepers, and other things that I'm going to put on the station here. I've made some graphics for them. They're going to go up on YouTube. There's going to be a big entry list video. I'm going to make a starting grid video at some point, and also I'm going to have these on the show Instagram, which if you want to follow the show's Instagram and get in touch with me here and try and get on the show sometime, you can go to @carsandcoffee_WHJE, and if you haven't followed the station on Instagram, if you have Instagram, go follow them at WHJE_radio. I mentioned YouTube earlier. You can find live show replays from all the shows I've done since September of 2024. You can find them on YouTube at This Week in Racing. The YouTube handle is at TWIRvids, and of course you can listen live anywhere in the world at WHJE.com. Going into the actual news that's happened this week, there really wasn't much, but the 34 drivers that are going to take part in the 109th running of the Indianapolis 500 took to the track early near the end of April for the annual Open test. There were a few stories developing over the course of the 4 separate sessions over 2 days. There was supposed to be a rookie session and a full field session, along with veterans and other things going on Wednesday, I think this was. But the internet went out at the track, so they couldn't get anything started until maybe 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so they lost, 4 hours of runtime, which really sucks, especially for, these drivers don't get a lot of practice time anyway. The loss of that open test time is the loss of even more speedway time that a lot of these young drivers have. The one team, unfortunately, lost their intended race chassis that had incredible potential in a crash. Takuma Sato and Kyle Larson both suffered crashes during the test, with Sato totaling his car, unfortunately, the number 75 Amada Ray Hall Letterman Lanigan Racing Honda, which at that point in the test was second fastest on overall speed. Larson also crashed his car, but I think they'll be able to salvage that. There was only some minor damage to the wheels. There's no extensive tub damage, so I think that car can be rebuilt. Sato's car, unfortunately, the tub was destroyed. He took a huge hit in turn 1. They're going to have to fully rebuild that car from the ground up, which is a real shame for RLL, especially since they've been suffering at Indy for the last couple years. And to finally get a good car and then just wreck it on the second day of the Open test and the qualifying boost session, that's really unfortunate. I feel really bad for the RLL team right now that has to rebuild another Speedway spec car for practice in 2 weeks. So, good luck, RLL, from a small radio guy. Scott McLaughlin was at the top of the board in the qualifying boost session overall, with a 233 mile an hour lap, which is very good considering that the car is 100 pounds heavier than it was last year with the inclusion of the hybrid unit, which didn't really factor into anything on the oval. To be fair, the hybrid unit doesn't really factor into anything anymore, so it's kind of useless with this car. Like, I understand bringing a hybrid in to please the engine manufacturers, which aligns more with the cars that you're selling on the road, but you're not getting an ROI. You're barely getting any ROI if you're an IndyCar manufacturer, let's be real. But putting a hybrid unit in a car that was never designed to have a hybrid unit and a car that was never designed to run as long as it has, it's really unfortunate that IndyCar had to do that, but the fact that speeds are still very high is very promising. But if you delete all of the draft speeds and you look at the top 5 in the no-toe laps, we have Sato, despite running only 9 laps, ran an average of 232.565 as his fastest lap, and he only ran 9, and he ran some flyers. Kyle Kirkwood was second, near over a mile an hour behind, actually, at 231.464. Scott McLaughlin's best no-toe lap was a 230.283. Louis Foster, there is still some hope for RLL. Louis Foster's Speedway car looks really fast, and they're always good on the Indianapolis road course, so hopefully May goes a little bit better for the RLL team, and especially Louis Foster, because Louis Foster's awesome. He was 4th in the overall no-toe speeds with a 230.263 mile an hour lap, and Kiffin Simpson rounded out the top 5 with a 230.188 mile an hour no-toe lap. Other standout runs, like if you go back to overall including toe laps, Louis Foster was 11th overall, and Stingray Robb in the number 77 Junco's car was 13th overall. Sato, despite crashing, still had the best no-toe lap. And the main storylines outside the crashes were a continued recovery for RLL after a terrible last few years at the track. Honestly, good to see RLL doing well. Like, good for you guys. Like, I really want to see them succeed after the... I don't even know how to describe it on air, but like it has been an awful last few years for RLL. Like, we had 2023. They had 3 of their cars in the last row shootout, basically guaranteeing that one of their cars would go home, and it did, with Graham Rahal out of those 3, Rahal, Harvey, and Lundgaard getting bumped, and he took Stephen Wilson's car. But the next year, all the Rahal cars made it in, but once again, the 4th car was the only one to not be in the last row shootout, and that becomes especially worse when the 4th Rahal car in 2023 was driven by Catherine Legg. No offense to Catherine, but that was the Honda car. That was the car that Honda prepared, and it was... With Catherine in it, it wasn't vastly better, but with Sato in it, you can really see the gap between Sato and the rest of the Rahal cars. But it's good to see Foster doing well. I'm a massive Louis Foster fan, along with former host of the show, Kyle Conley, who may be coming back in the next couple weeks. Stay tuned to the Instagram. Go follow the Instagram for more updates about that. We might do an Indy 500 preview show. Chip Ganassi Racing is coming back to the top of the board. Alex Palou had a very good open test. The Kiffin Simpson had a very good open test. Dixon was kind of meh all week, but overall, Ganassi, compared to last year, is improving. And I know a lot of IndyCar fans are sick of Alex Palou winning. I really want to see Alex Palou win a 500 because he deserves it. Alex Palou is a 3-time champ already. It is only his 5th season. There are only 5 guys that have more IndyCar championships than him. At least that's according to today's Racer Mailbag. Alex Palou, I don't often call people generational talents because I think the term is overused. Alex Palou is a generationally good IndyCar driver. Like, he has some spirit within him that you only see once every 25 years. Like, he was the perfect pickup by Ganassi, and he's done basically nothing but good for them. And the final thing he needs on his resume, especially if he wants to go over to Formula One, is an Indy 500 win. I think that will complete Alex Palou's IndyCar speed run for the lack of a better word. But it was great to see the speeds remaining at the 232, 231, 230 range, low 230s, after the uncertainty of adding 100 pounds with the hybrid unit. Overall, I am very happy leaving this open test, and most of the teams, excluding Larson's team, especially Sato's team, and Santino Ferrucci's guys who had to replace an engine. Overall, very positive open test, very net positive open test. It just makes me more excited for practice to get going in the next couple weeks. This is my favorite time of the year for IndyCar racing. I love super speedway racing. I wish we got to see more Indy cars on super speedways, but yeah, I am very happy leaving the open test. The open test went very well for pretty much everyone. Great to see cars on track again. It's a shame I couldn't get out there because, school and everything, but I will one of these days. I'll go out there with my camera and take photos and put them on Instagram. Again, follow the Instagram, carsandcoffee_WSJ. You are listening to Cars and Coffee here on 91.3 WHJ. It is a short show today. When we come back, we are going to make some picks for a whole lot of races that are happening this weekend. Stay tuned for that. Here's Dr. My Eyes by Jackson Brown.
Don't go anywhere. Cars and Coffee will be right back here on 91.3 WHJE. Hi. If you're listening to this, that means you're listening to the show on playback. I just want to say thank you for listening, and make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you never miss full-length show replays when they're uploaded. If you're listening on playback on the radio, go to youtube.com/TWIRvids. If you're listening to the video on YouTube, just click the button below. Thank you so much, and let's get back to the show. We now return to Cars and Coffee on 91.3 WHJE.
Welcome back to Cars and Coffee here on 91.3 WHJ. My name is Nathan Ward. We're going to take a look at the races this week, and we're going to sign off here before... Actually, no, it's probably going to be after the bell rings here, if I'm going to be completely honest. But we have a lot of races this week. It is a very, 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 very packed weekend. We have 6 series racing. Only IMSA and WEC are not racing this weekend, and they are both going to be on track. Next weekend, for IndyCar's at Barber Motorsports Park for the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix. That will be May 4th at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox. Indy Next will be before that for the Grand Prix of Alabama. That will be May 4th at 11:30 a.m. on FS1. F1 will be at the Miami International Autodrome, which is around Hard Rock Stadium for the Miami Grand Prix. That will also be Sunday right after the IndyCar race on ESPN. That will be at 4 o'clock. For NASCAR trucks, they'll be at Texas Motor Speedway for the SpeedyCash.com 250 Friday night at 8 p.m. on FS1. For Xfinity, they will be racing the, honestly, really weirdly titled Andy's Frozen Custard 300. We got an ice cream race now. That'll be 2 p.m. on the CW. And the Cup race will be the Worth 400. That will be Sunday afternoon at 3:30. Once again, right after the IndyCar race, so it's going to be F1 or NASCAR Cup. That will be on FS1. Time to make some picks. Honestly, for IndyCar, I think Scott McLaughlin's going back-to-back here at Barber. There really isn't anything to tell me otherwise, but I don't know. For Indy Next, I think Dennis Hauger is going to keep his winning streak going. There really wasn't a challenge for him at St. Pete, so I think he's just going to drive away from the field again. F1, I think Max Verstappen's going to get the win that was taken from him last year. Honestly, I just want anyone other than Lando Norris to win. I don't know why, I just want anyone else other than Lando Norris. But my truck pick, I'm going with Front Row Motorsports here. I have this feeling. It's just, I don't know how to explain it. It's just a feeling. I think Lane Riggs is going to win the truck race at Texas. I think Taylor Gray is going to get his first Xfinity win for the number 54 Joe Gibbs team. And my Cup winner, I really don't know who to pick for Cup, so I just picked a Hendrick car. Kyle Larson, I think, is going to continue his mantra of winning literally everything and win the Cup race at Texas this weekend on May 4th, Star Wars Day. Happy Star Wars weekend to all my fellow nerds out there. But that'll be it for this week's show. Thank you for listening to this very quick episode of Cars and Coffee here on 91.3 WHJ. Remember to go follow the Instagram at carsandcoffee_WHJ. If you want to get in touch with the show, I'm always looking for new guests. Stay in touch with with our social media stuff to figure out what I'm doing next, because even I don't really know. I just come up with things on the fly. But that'll be it for me. My name is Nathan Ward. You're listening to 91.3 WHJ. Here's one of our own. This is Play the Part by Teague Holt.